Well, if you've ever heard the term ham radio and you weren't exactly sure what it meant, you're probably not alone. I didn't either until last year when one of my students started talking to me about it and he was pretty involved in it. And it started to get me kind of interested in these. So, just in short, ham radio is just kind of another name for an amateur licensed radio service. It lets people talk to each other without cell towers, without having to use the internet. And they use these things called repeaters so that that signal can be boosted all over the place. And so you can listen in, and if you're licensed for this, you can transmit to people all over the place. And they're very, very interesting just for that. But for me, what I was really interested in was something like this as an emergency radio because it doesn't operate on cell towers, it doesn't operate on the internet. It really is a good system if you need to get in touch with somebody. So I looked around and I found this one. It got really good ratings. So a big thank you to BAOFENG for sending me a sample of this to try out. I've been playing with this all afternoon and I'm already really impressed with it. Now this came with so much stuff right out of the box that I can barely fit it all in my camera frame right now here. But all of this stuff is very useful. If you kind of look through here, you've got the radio unit itself, and you've got a battery, and you've got a battery charger. So we'll just start right there. And I do want to mention that the battery, to attach to the radio, you need to screw it in. Now, at first that may seem inconvenient, but the truth is that it's a really good design because it's very securely attached to this thing and it's not going to pop off. And if you're using this as an emergency radio, that's a very, very nice thing to do. You can see it just slides right on, you tighten it on, and it's very secure. Now from there, you can put the radio right into the charger. The charger has just got a USB-C cable that comes with it. And the front of the charger will put out a red light when it's charging, and then it will shift to green once it's all charged. Now, on the back of the radio, that also has got a USB-C port. So if you've got the battery installed on the radio, you can just plug that right in and charge it that way. And this comes with a lot of other things that are really pretty impressive. Now it does come with an antenna that you can attach so you can get greater range on this thing. It comes with a very nice little case that this will slide into, and it's got a clip on the back so you can clip that just kind of onto your belt. And it also comes with this microphone here, which is another really kind of thoughtful thing to include with this, because if you are out and you're using this as an emergency radio, you can clip this to your belt and then you can just talk through this. So this is another really nice thing that comes along with this. We've got a little pouch over there, a number of cables. We've got some rings over here, different colors. This thing is a very, very complete set. And I was really excited to kind of try this out, see how it worked, and kind of run through the features. Now, one of the first questions that people ask about these kind of radios, at least I assume they ask it because it's a question that I was curious about myself, which is just, what's the range on these things? And you see a lot of different things that are put out there, but the range on this generally kind of depends on the terrain you're in. So if you're in like a crowded city with lots of buildings and houses and things like that, you might get upwards of around 3 miles, just because it's got some obstructions in the way. Same thing up in that 5-mile range, probably out in the suburbs. If you're just kind of in the countryside, out in the middle of nowhere, sometimes you can get up to 10 miles. And if you're really climbing high, like let's say you're up on a mountain or something like that, you can really go quite a bit further, especially if there is a repeater out there, which is something that will take the signal that gets sent out and transmit it a little bit farther. So you do get pretty good range out of these things. And again, if you are out and you're hiking or something, having that 10-mile range where you can get in touch with somebody if there isn't a cell tower or internet, it really is another great thing to kind of think about. Okay, so I've installed the battery in here by screwing this into the bottom. I've also put the case on here so you can kind of see what this looks like. It's got this nice clip that just slides in. You could clip this right on, and then this can just pull right out of your belt if you need to lift it out of there. I've also installed the antenna, which is pretty big. Hopefully you can see the whole thing. So having an antenna you can put on is really useful, because if you want to just carry this around and have it not take up too much space, you can keep the antenna off. But then when you need to use it, you can of course put this back on, and you're going to increase your efficiency with this thing. Now on the side over here, this just pops out like this. And you've got your little leads here that you can attach your microphone to very easily. This just comes right out like that. And then the key button to talk is right over here. And this works similar to just a regular walkie-talkie. Turning this on is really easy. We've got a nice dial up here that turns on, and it will take a second.
7.
And when this turns on, it defaults to the channel that it is on, and we've got a channel changer right up here, 8,
9,
10, and so on. And you have also got menu options here. Now, one of the things I was really interested in with this was that it's got a GPS on it that can not just get your location, but it can broadcast it as well. And so you can see you've got menu settings on here that are very easy to navigate. You've got a menu button over here, and it'll say OK, and then you've got a back button over here. You can turn your GPS on and off. I've got this on right now. Just hit OK. Setting is OK. So the screen is quite big and very, very easy to read. And just kind of on a side note, this thing is very, very hardy. You can tell when you get this out of the package that it's pretty serious. It's not a cheap plastic walkie-talkie. Now, if you want to listen in with an earphone, and these come with it as well, because this seems to come with everything, these go right into this same slot over on the side that you would plug the mic into as well. Just go right in there, and then you can just listen to this as well. Okay, now you can see I've installed the smaller antenna on this. I took the big one off just so you can kind of get an idea of what that looks like. Great sized antenna, especially for keeping this kind of compact. Then you've got the bigger one you can bring along with it as well, as I had mentioned. Now there's a few things about this that really set this apart from other radios. And one of them is, if you notice on the front, it looks like it's almost got a phone keypad. And so all of this ability here to do inputs into the radio is very important. You can dial in specific channels, go through the menus, program this, all sorts of other things. So you've got a lot of control over this radio beyond simply just listening. So this is really a great little radio. I was surprised at how hefty it is. Again, it feels like it's a very tough radio. This is the kind of thing, it feels like you could drop this and it wouldn't break on you. The battery life on this is really, really good. If you are just kind of in a standby mode out here, maybe where you're just listening, you're going to get probably 2 or 3 days out of it. If you're just kind of using it casually throughout the day, you're going to be looking at probably 15 or 20 hours on this. And it fits in there really snugly. The case is great. The accessories are great. And again, if you're looking for something that either you want to kind of start exploring the whole hobby of ham radio, or you want to use this as an emergency device, I think this is a really, really good choice to go with. And I could see getting another one of these.